everyone, this is Erin with Five Parks Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. Today's class is Love for Your Legs. So we are going to focus on the legs. It's going to be a little bit of strengthening, but minimal, mostly stretching, and it's going to be pretty short and sweet. So we're going to start right away in toes pose, everybody's favorite. So we'll start from the very bottom, your toes. So tuck your toes under. We'll take our breathing in our toes pose, because you really have to focus on your breathing to hold the pose. Sit all of your weight back on your heels if it's possible, so you're getting a stretch all along the bottom of your foot and your toes. Hands on your thighs. Close your eyes. Take 5 breaths here, breathing in and out through your nose. As the pose continues to get more intense, do your best to keep your breath slow and steady. Just finding that calm in the intensity of it all. Two more breaths. Last breath here. Continue with your steady breathing. Come forward. Give your feet a little bit of a shake on the floor. And then to counter pose for the tops of your feet, take the tops of your feet flat to the floor, sit your hips back on your heels, and then lift your knees up as far as you can without creating any massive discomfort like pain, but a little discomfort. Stretch is okay. And come back down onto your shins. All right, moving on up, we're gonna take a deep stretch for the knees called hero pose. So separate your feet, keep your knees touching if you can. Roll your calves out of the way and then just sit back, hips between your heels. Sit upright, or if you can't stay upright, put a block or a blanket or something under your hips to lift you up, and then if you want more of a stretch, you can recline. Just coming back down onto your forearms, maybe all the way down onto your back. If you're reclined, come on up. Okay, and then just come forward. Now cross over your ankles. Bring your shins in front of you. So we're going to work into a stretch first for the hamstrings and then for the hips. So take your legs forward for Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. All 10 toes point up toward the ceiling or the sky. Legs are nice and active. Lift your arms up overhead. Hinge from your hips. Coming forward over your legs. 3 more breaths. Release from your fold. And making your way to your inner thighs now, you're going to come into butterfly pose first. So soles of the feet together. Hips toward heels, heels toward hips, hands around your ankles, sit up tall. And then hinge forward. All the way up. All right, I'm gonna turn toward you on my yoga mat, but we're gonna come into seated straddle split. So if you wanna turn on your yoga mat, you can, or you can just stay where you are. Now separate your feet. Point your toes and your knees up. Sit up tall, okay? So you can use your hands behind you for support, or if you want, you can hinge forward. Coming down onto your forearms, your chest, your forehead, as long as your feet don't start to flop in like this and they stay up like this. Release from your fold and then draw your legs together. I'm going to continue to face you now. For fire log pose, you're going to take, this is for your hips and your glutes now, so just continuing to move on up. Take your left shin and make sure it's parallel with the edge of your mat, and then take your right shin and stack it on top of your left. Okay, so your right ankle will come to your right knee, your left knee, and then your right knee will come to your left ankle. Flex your feet, just like we've done in all of our poses thus far. Sit up tall, shoulders head over shoulders over hips. If you want to, you can come forward, getting a little bit deeper back here in your glute. And release. Well, before we switch sides, we're going to take Cradle the Baby. So just take your bottom foot, bring it a little bit further in. Now take your right shin or your top shin, lift it up. Maybe wrap your arms around your leg. You can cradle it. You can just hold on to it. Okay. I like this pose though, because you can take a little bit of movement here. Just really starting to notice where your tightness or your tension is. It's not uncommon to hold a lot of tightness and tension in the hips, so it's really good to take a little extra time for your hips. Okay, and now let's switch sides. So right shin on the bottom, shin on the top. Stack your ankles and your knees, flex your toes. Hands behind you for support to keep your spine upright, or hinge forward. Make sure your toes are in line with your heels and your heels are in line with your knees. If you have folded forward, come on back up and let's take Cradle the Baby on the other side. Lifting your left shin up, either wrapping your arms around your shin, cradling your calf and your elbows, holding on with your hands to your knee and your foot, whatever, and then move here. You can take your bottom foot in for a little more support if you want. All right, now release. Okay, as promised, just a little bit of strengthening. So we're gonna strengthen the glutes, the quads. So come into a reverse tabletop position with your hands a little bit wider than your hips so that your hips can fit between your hands. Press up. Really open your shoulders, but keep a micro bend in your elbows. Okay. Inhale here. Exhale. Come to a straight-legged position with your hips hovering, and then just lift and squeeze your glutes at the top. Extend, lift, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. And then from here, sit your hips down on the floor. You're gonna take one roll and you're gonna come to Malasana, okay? So that's a wide squat. So roll back, and you can use your hands. Oops, my little microphone's in the way. You can use your hands, press up, and come into low squat. Take your hands to your heart, hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift and lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take your hands to the floor, heel toe your feet to touch. Sit your hips low, lift your arms for chair, hold and take mini bounces for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come all the way up to staff pose. This is our last strengthener. See if you can kick your leg forward. This is for quad strength. And hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Standing pigeon for a hip stretch. Hands to your heart, ankle over your knee. Hold it. Okay, switch sides, staff on the left, or on your right foot, lifting your left leg. Try to kick your leg forward. Really active quad here. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A little cheat there. And then standing pigeon, hold it for 5. All right, come back up to standing. From this position, you're just gonna step your left foot way back behind you and come into standing pyramid pose. So both legs are working in the direction of straight. Your left heel is reaching toward the floor. You're folding over your right leg. We're gonna move back down to the floor now, okay? So from here, you can bend your right leg, take your left knee to the floor. I'm gonna give you 2 options. So this is another hamstring stretch, splits pose. So you can take half splits. Option number 1, hip over knee. Option number 2, hip on heel. Option number 3, full splits. You can start to shimmy your right foot forward and your left knee back. Okay, and hold wherever you are. All right, and then make your way back out of it, and we're gonna switch sides. So step your left foot forward, step your right foot back. Start to straighten both legs for extended pyramid pose. Fold over your left leg. And come forward. Lunge, back knee to the floor, half splits. You can take all those options I showed you on the other side, or full splits. Start to shimmy your left foot forward, your right knee back, and hold. Come on back out of it. And then step to standing forward fold, and then standing forward fold. You can just sway your hips side to side, bend and straighten one leg at a time. All right, and then come down onto your back. Last little strengthener for your glutes, similar to what we just did, but from a bridge position. Lay down on your back, hands alongside your body. Okay, lift your hips up. And then you're just gonna take little squeezes, pulsing, okay? So squeeze, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just on your right side. So for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just on your left for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. These are our last stretches. We're gonna get the outside of our legs now. So this is your IT band. It's a hard one to stretch. So extend your left leg long on your mat. Lift your right leg up toward the sky or the ceiling. Take hold of your right toe with your left hand, or if you have a strap or a shirt or something, you can wrap it around. I don't have a strap with me, so you're gonna start to bring your right leg to the left. It's not gonna be very far. Keep your hips grounded on the floor. You should feel it. You can start to point your toes a little bit to the left and get the outer side of your ankle as well. Like I said, it's not a big movement. Come back and a hip compression. Bring your right knee in, hug it in. Real nice and tight squeeze here. And release, and let's switch sides. So extend your right leg on your mat, lift your left leg up, take hold of your toe with your right hand, and then start to bring your left foot to the right, okay? But keep your left hip down, and then if you want, you can just bump your toes further to the right so you get that stretch to the outside of your ankle. Come back to center. Hug your left knee in for a compression on your left hip. Nice tight squeeze, hold. Bring your right knee in to meet your left, squeeze and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy baby. Stretch for your hips and inner thighs. You can bend and straighten one leg at a time or both legs at the same time for a straddle. And away to Shavasana. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale through your mouth. Fully release into this pose. Relax, breathe naturally, and rest. If you have the time, please stay in Shavasana for a bit longer. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. Today, as you move forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. From my heart to yours, namaste.